Hi Taurus Ascendant, it's Nicole from Outer Inner Space, and in this video we're going to be talking about some of the qualities of your chart ruler and ideas relative to timing and your authentic frequency, because your ascendant sign sets up all your houses, as you probably know, and your chart ruler, which is the ruler of your ascendant sign, the vibration of that planet kind of sets what I see as this base tone frequency. So while all the placements in your chart have their own energetic expressions, the chart ruler, because it's like the one that sets up all the house placements and the areas of life, when you tune into the qualities of the chart ruler, it brings you back to your authentic frequency, and from that place you can recalibrate. Because when we're operating and we're feeling scattered or static, or like we're spinning our wheels, or we're moving in a direction that doesn't actually feel authentic to us, that's all coming from external stimuli. But when we're tuning into the qualities of our chart ruler, which is one of many qualities, basically we can redirect our energy into stuff which is actually meaningful to us. So as a Taurus Ascendant, your chart ruler is Venus, so there's like a Venetian lens through which you see the world. And I find that when you tune into the qualities of your chart ruler, and for you that's Venus, you find more equilibrium and harmony in your day-to-day, and that comes from creating space around you, which when you tune into that, it kind of just realigns you on your path. And it's only one aspect, so keep in mind that we're multidimensional, we have many different layers to us, so this is just one aspect, but I do find that it is kind of like a main spirit guide in a sense, and you can have these conversations with yourself, and it helps with timing and pacing and just general energy management, I think. So the first thing I would say would be to look to where Venus is in your natal chart as well, because this is one aspect talking about it from the chart ruler perspective, but the placement of your natal Venus and the house that it's in is going to add another dimension to this story. So potentially after you listen to this, or when you've had time to digest some of the ideas in this video, you can then extrapolate on it, considering the placement of your Venus sign and the house that it's in. So Venus is a feminine yin energy, so it's kind of got this slower pace to it, as opposed to a planet say like Mercury or Mars. The Venusian energy is very creative and non-linear, I find, and combine that with Taurus energy, it's a very steady, considered and patient pace. So if you're in a work environment or any aspect of your life is quite hectic, then taking time to step into that Venusian quality of creativity and just space to basically not hustle can be really beneficial to when it comes back to redirecting your energy on targeted projects. It's also really important for a Venus-ruled individual to make sure that you find little ways to surround yourself with beauty and considering the aesthetic of the environment that you're in, because the environment that you're placed in has a huge impact on your energetic field. So everything kind of stems from within, but also like where you're positioning yourself day to day is going to influence your energetic field. So doing things that beautify your environment, your home, your workplace, things of this nature can really help bring this Venus aspect to your conditions basically, and then that results in like a more harmonious vibration that you're not only receiving but emitting, because we will absorb the energies that are around us. And that also has to do with the senses. So that would be considering, say, sight and potentially smell, but stuff like playing beautiful music as well as you work, just stuff that isn't abrasive to your energy, and amplifying your living space or your workspace with essential oils, and just things, when you consider the five senses, things that give you a positive reaction, because it's all in the small details and the little curations of your life it's like a compound effect. So it's in the little details that really amplify your level of comfort, and for a Venus ruled person, comfort is everything. Also, being in nature can help you really recalibrate back to your authentic frequency as well, and that can be something as simple as taking a break every hour to put your bare feet on the ground. This helps slow down the brainwaves and tune you back into a vibe that's steady, considered and patient, because when we're connecting with nature, we're connecting with the cycles, we're understanding the life cycles. So the idea, which we'll talk about later, of things needing time to develop. And as a Venus ruled person, the creative process is a pretty prevalent influence. And when you give yourself space to embody the idea of timing and understanding that the creative process isn't linear, so when you connect that back to the idea of nature, every single plant, every single organism in nature has its own timing, and we're socialized to believe that we're supposed to be in a certain place at a certain time in our lives, but the truth is that me as an organism, I'm on a completely different timeline to you as an organism, and that has to do with many different things. And just looking at your natal chart is like one reflection of that. I have a completely different energetic makeup to you. I'm ruled by Saturn as a Capricorn ascendant, but my timing is going to be completely different to a Venus ruled person or a Mercury ruled person, and the same goes. So it's just about understanding that, like in nature, how a different plant has, say a palm tree has a different growth ratio to a bamboo, say, it's about identifying that you two are on a very unique timeline. And when you create that space and understanding, it really takes away all degrees of comparison with social constructs and peer groups, that you don't have to be anywhere at a certain time, and where you are now is exactly where you're supposed to be because you're growing organically. So for a Taurus Ascendant, when we're considering the sensuality of the sign of Taurus and how it has to do with pleasure and the present moment experience and the details that make something so much better when we put the care and tend to it. When you give yourself the space to do that and you're not rushing, the things that you create are absolutely incredible. And when you tune into the small details and are present in the moment and thinking of ways that you can enhance things just in small ways, the effect becomes so much more potent. And in order to do that, we need to come out of any levels of stress, because when we're in high beta, which is like the fastest brainwave, where we're working with the neocortex at the frontal lobe, that's all based on sort of past experience and learnt experience. But with Venus energy, it's about what's happening right now, what kind of energy you're feeling right now, and what kind of flow is available to you right now. And to open up to that, we need to slow the brainwaves down to alpha waves, which is it's kind of like how you feel when you're comfortable in your own space and you're open to divine inspiration and you're in that creative flow where you kind of, say, at the computer and you feel the words just rushing through your fingertips and you have no idea, you're not consciously thinking, which is the beta waves. You're not consciously thinking about what's happening, you're just doing it, like you're expressing it. And when you're in that headspace, then you're so open to these amazing ideas. It's like you're holding the brush and it's like more color here, this color there, you know what I mean? Like it's not considered, it's like instant information. And so as a Venus ruled person, having a creative outlet is really important. Whatever that may be, it could be, making robots, or it could be creating art, or it could be doing programming. Like, this is all a creative expression. It could be how you tend to your home, it could be gardening, anything that involves the hands and creating something that wasn't there in the first place. It's a massive benefit to have that outlet. And you can look to the 5th house of your natal chart to see the sign or any planets that are there as well, to give you another dimension to where your creative expression might be. Creativity isn't limited to like art, but it's the essence. It's like curating your existence. I feel like we're all works of art and how we tend to the details of it, how we refine our skills in our day-to-day practice, will determine the kind of experiences we attract back. Because when we're giving ourselves that attention, and if you think about a seed in the ground, when we're tending to the soil and nurturing that seed and not saying like, you suck because you haven't grown yet, but when we're considering the environment, and for us that is where we go on the day-to-day, or what we do for work, or who we surround ourselves with, when those conditions give us sustenance, then we ourselves become better because we're in the right soil, we're working with the correct climate conditions, so to speak. Also, it will be worth looking to your second house as a Taurus Ascendant, just because that house is typically ruled by Taurus, but that can give you an indication of some of the special skills and hidden talents that you have. And when you combine that with fifth house, then, you know, it kind of is like it's telling a story, and it'll be really intuitive, the kind of hits that you get. So definitely do some research just to get a foundational understanding, but I find that every individual really needs to trust their own instincts when looking at the chart. And if it's blank for a little while, just give it time, like create that energetic field around you that you're not like constantly asking the question, but you do create space for answers. And so with Venus energy, I really consider the Empress card in the tarot. Like when I think about that, the Empress energy isn't considering what time it is or what day it is. She's not considering deadlines. She's looking at the fruit on the tree and she knows instinctively like it's not time to pick it yet, or she's thinking that she's hungry now. She's not waiting for lunchtime to go eat, or she's not wondering if it's 5 o'clock yet to finish work. She's feeling in her body if she's done for the day. And if you can apply that kind of lens of time to your operations, like giving yourself space to consider the natural aspect of your schedule, I guess, then it really does take you out of that high beta stress, deadline, socially conditioned, timing restriction, and opens space and time up in this amazing way, because it's more natural, it's more organic, and that's what we are as human beings. We are natural organic beings. The overachieving and the trying to live up to the expectation of social construct or peers or anything like that, it really can be such a detriment to our spirit and our authentic nature and our creative process. So see how you go. It doesn't mean throwing your schedule out the window. It just means bringing a bit more of a fluidity to it. And that also goes with your life goals, or maybe you don't have them, maybe you do. I don't think everybody needs them. Just, it's like tuning into what's actually true for you. And I find that if you do take the time to just be in your own energy, and that can be hard, not taking in information like YouTube videos or, you know, past impressions that others have left on you that have kind of stuck with you about where you should be or what you should be doing. Venus energy is really like back to the Empress, like she's ambivalent to what everyone else thinks. She's just on her own flow. She's chasing rabbits by a stream when she feels like it. And when that happens, when you are struck with that divine inspiration to create or to work or whatever it is for you, then there's like a real accuracy that comes with that. But when we're in that high beta range and we're trying to live up to the expectations, whether they're our own or conditioned ones, and we haven't given ourselves the space to really tune into our own timeline, then often we are creating art or products or work that's redundant in the long term. And as a Taurus Ascendant, it's all about quality over quantity. And so doing less but making it potent is going to bring you 10 times more results than doing more, but it being a result of just trying to keep up. And like I said, the creative process isn't linear. Your life isn't linear. But when you trust in the creative process, you can have 5 projects on the go or something, and if you trust that they're going to be finished when they're going to be finished, it all kind of lines up in perfect succession, and the return on your investment also lines up in perfect succession, and that's how you kind of create flow in your life. And Venus energy is all about flow. It's all about trust as well, and seeing that it's not just you alone trying to force your way into the world or into other people's experiences. It's creating that energetic atmosphere around you that magnetizes things to you. And when you tend to your own energy field by giving yourself space, by giving yourself time, by understanding that you are running on a very different frequency than a lot of other people, then it naturally all just comes in the right time, and you don't have to worry about conflicting items on your schedule. It just happens naturally, and naturally is like the key word when it comes to Venus. So cultivating grace in the process and patience too. It just shows the universe that you trust it, and then it'll trust you with more, whether that be more money, it could be more creative ideas, it could be more social experiences, or just more potent ones. So when you consider the cycles of nature as well, like I said before, it's like planting the seed and just knowing that it's gonna grow naturally. It knows what to do, but if we're standing over it, or standing over ourselves, talking bad about ourselves that we're not there yet, or that we need to be somewhere else by now, it's gonna take 10 times longer. And oftentimes there are the cycles that need to occur, and it sometimes takes many cycles for the sprout to show, but when it does, it's got these incredibly established root systems, and then it'll last, and it'll flower and create fruit, or it'll blossom in this most remarkable way, and that is the same for you. And the last thing I'll leave you with is the idea of doing body work to create channels and flow inside of you. Whether that be massage or acupuncture or physio or radix therapy, anything that you can do to tend to the inner world. Because when you tend to your body in a way that shows that you value it and respect it, it's kind of like tending to the seed, right? So as you tend to any energetic blocks that you feel in the body, that purifies your energy field. It moves the energy that's stuck, that's stagnant, and it opens up these new channels. And when we've got these channels flowing within, then we don't hit so many walls when it comes to creating and when it comes to expressing the energies in flow. And that's what it's all about as a Venus Ascendant. So I'll leave it here, Taurus. I hope you found some value in this. If you're interested, and if you're a woman, I've created a really wonderful interactive content library that is all about the interconnectedness of periods, brainwaves, and astrology. And if you are keen to tune more into your authentic natural cycle and your own timing, then you might find some value in that. And there's a link below, and you can check it out for free just to see if you like it. I'll leave it here, and I am wishing you well, Taurus. Bye.